So hello there, and here I am again with a little recommendation for a lesser known game. I mean, if you keep track of like games and releases and everything, or even like nominations for awards, you may have probably heard about this game before. I know that the games I do recommend aren't like absolutely, weird and unknown indie games, but games that are not like AAA and like all over the place, but something that you may enjoy. So if you've heard about the game, I guess you can skip the video, and if not, maybe I can get you interested, because this is a fun game. And last time I did a video like that, it was about the game Backpack Hero, and that game was about inventory management, which didn't sound very exciting, but it's a fun game. And this game is a game where you dismantle ships. That doesn't sound interesting either, right? Sounds rather boring, but it isn't. It's a fun game. It's quite relaxed, depending on what mode you play. And there are different plays. There's, for example, open shift. It removes the shift timer because you work at like a spaceship dock and you dismantle ships, and with the money you earn, you pay off your debt, which is quite substantial. And so there's open shift, removed shift timer, and oxygen drain for a more relaxed experience. So this is, your really chilled mode. There's standard, which gives you unlimited lives, but you work on the clock. Time is money. There's limited, 30 revives for the whole campaign, measure twice, cut once. So, if you die, then you get 30 revives, and once you've used those, game over. And no revival, one life. Remember, there's no such thing as a second chance. So that will add quite a bit of tension. You will not die in the early game, but later it gets a bit more critical, I guess. You have to be a bit more careful. So what does the game work like? I'm going to take the standard mode. There's a little bit of storytelling in there, so it's not just dismantling ships. So here's the intro. Humankind has industrialized much of the solar system. Earth is deteriorated into a place of squalor and decay. In orbit, a new breed of worker has emerged, the Shipbreaker. Labor is extremely dangerous, but for a select few. So here we go. Pretty cool intro. Greetings, citizen LF2911805 or 80S. So you can see, it plays a little with that dystopian thing where, citizens are referred to with numbers. Congratulations, you've been accepted into Lynx Corporation's pioneering Paved the Way to the Galaxy program. Your selection was based on above average physical and cognitive ability. You're assigned to Salvage Station number 42, designation Morrigan. Demonstrate the ability to build and grow a profitable operation, and a number of exciting opportunities await you. Remember, employment in this program is at the sole discretion of Lynx Corporation, can be revoked at any time. Acts of malice or insubordination will not be tolerated. Upon signing this form, please proceed immediately to the nearest Lynx Corporation shuttle hub for transport to the worksite. Finalize the following pages to confirm employment. So I can enter an account name. Let's do that. Alright. So, proudly offer ever work set replacement program to new employees. Below are details of your selected spare package. Terran Health Board Advisory cloning has a 0.02% chance of DNA corruption. Voice ID verification. Verify the voice file you submitted. So this is where you pick your voice. I like the fact that they ask you to verify your voice file. Guess I'm going to stay with this one. Select orientation scheme for your personality mobility unit. Proper settings may improve productivity by up to 40%. I like how you do these settings, and it asks you, it's like in character, right? So let's take a standard. Food processors serve a variety of diet preferences. Food costs may vary over time. Chicken, plastic-free, vegetarian, and tomotarian. I have no idea what this really does, but I'm gonna take chicken. Alrighty. Please agree to each statement. I have no criminal record in the Terran or Martian zone. I'm not a member of a workers' union or other labor interest. This will come into play with the story. I've completed my annual medical exam and have been cleared of having McCullough's lung. I have no commercial or real estate interests on Lunar, in the asteroid belt, or in the nation state of Arizona. I will bring a positive attitude and problem-solving mindset. Wow, that sounds like a job interviewer once did. I understand and accept the health risks associated with long-term exposure to a van der Waals field. I will vote for Chancellor Shin Sung in the Pan American Senate election. Yeah, that sounds very fair and whatever. So I'm gonna certify this, and I'm not gonna skip the training because we're gonna do a training together, if you don't mind. So I'll show you a little bit of the gameplay, and maybe this will get you interested. It's a fun game. If you're into science fiction and you look for something that's a bit more chilled, this may be right down your alley. Music is pretty cool. It's got that acoustic guitar, bluesy, country style music. So that's me taking off.
Each day he steps into the yard to earn his wages working hard. I pray to the stars and heaven above to return my daddy to those he loves. If there comes a time when he and death meet, bless the next cutter that takes his seat.
Pretty cool, right? That's Morgan Station. There's a cutter at work. Dismantling a ship. That's what I'll be doing. Very cool. Forgot about that intro. It's been a while since I played that game.
9346-52. Your automated Lynx onboarding experience will now begin. Please observe this important message.
Space. Boundless promise. Limitless resources. A brighter future. It's here where hard workers like you, the backbone of civilization, will help us pave the way to the galaxy. I'm Calicia Rai Paulson, president of Lynx Corporation's Salvage Division. When my great-great-grandfather Exeter founded Lynx, he foresaw a remarkable opportunity among the stars. His vision eventually brought us the Railgates. Now spanning all the way to Jupiter, these are the veins connecting all of modern civilization. And the people flowing through them are its lifeblood. The Railgates reinvigorated humanity and are key to our continued progress. You've been selected from among thousands of candidates to join the Lynx family. This is more than just a job. It's an opportunity to be part of the largest, most successful, and most pioneering company in human history. Your dream may be to forge your own destiny one day. Well, work hard, heed your superiors, believe in the Lynx vision. Do this, and you too will get your chance. Your first step is to join our EverWork program, the greatest gift we give our employees, turning death into an ongoing opportunity for learning and growth. With Lynx, death is a fresh start. Good luck.
Video observation.
Alrighty.
To finalize onboarding,
So we
your
can see
genetic
there's
sequence
a
will
little
now
bit
be
of like
extracted for use
social
with the
criticism in
Lynx
there.
EverWork asset displacement program.
Some
Don't
references
worry,
to modern
pain
day.
levels during extraction are largely tolerable. Please note, as outlined in Section 31 of your employment agreement, the process of genetic extraction will destroy your original body.
Very nice.
Beginning extraction now.
Doesn't look and sound quite as good or hopeful or shiny as it did in that video, right? Well, that's the point.
Extraction analysis and backup complete. Thank you. Beginning spare generation.
Congratulations, it's now safe to die. Shipbreakers are responsible for the cost of biomaterials used in the Everwork process. An additional fee is required for deaths that occur outside working hours. You may now proceed with salvage trading. Good luck. So yeah, Everwork, where you'll never die, but come back as a clone. And these are my medical builds. Now it sounds pretty realistic, or looks realistic. It's like a college credit repay program or something. Yeah, that's what I will have to pay back. So yeah, a bump under that, and I will have to pay that back eventually in the course of the game.
All right.
So here we are. This is our workspace.
Okay. Everything's gonna be just fine. There you go. Plenty of folks feel a bit woozy with their first spare. Anyway, welcome aboard. The name's Weaver. I'm the foreman for yourself and a couple of other shipbreakers in this region. This here's Morrigan Station. She may not look like much right now, but once we boot her up, she'll purr like a kitten. Alright, let's test out your orientation control. Do me a favor and look up at that cargo elevator up above. That's it. So that's where all the salvage gets collected to be picked up by the transfer crew. Just in case you ever turn yourself out of whack, use your roll thrusters to reorient.
Okay. So this is how we roll.
Alright,
Right.
now let's get you flying. Activating your thruster controls now. Try moving around.
Alrighty, so with the left stick I can move forth and back and to the sides. And I can also
Now vertical control.
roll like that. And ascending, descending.
Looks good. Now, to finalize these movement checks, I need you to fly to these waypoints.
Alrighty. This is not exactly like light speed or anything,
Be a cutter myself, you know.
but
Till there was some
I'm actually glad that you moved that in that speed, because your main job is to take apart ships,
early days
and so
though, so never you mind about that.
it took me a little while to get used to those controls at first, but
Get yourself going at it.
you actually playing this with a controller, and I felt like after a few minutes it becomes second nature. Alright, and let's break. Alright.
Looks like the bay here was left in a bit of a mess. We're gonna clean this crap up. I'm gonna activate the furnaces. Now. Ding, ding.
So these are your furnaces, and you can throw stuff that you cannot salvage, you know, that only works if you burn it.
Furnaces are used to melt down soft metal.
Right, he's explaining it.
Should go without saying. These things are hot as all get out. So, try not to drift into them by accident. Okay, let's get a handle on your grapple tool. This fella here is a shipbreaker's bread and butter. This is how we move salvage around. Activate the beam and hold it to grab an object and move it around, if it's not too heavy. Give it a go. Move one of these pieces into either furnace. So, When you're holding an object with the grapple, you can retract the beam. This will pull a light object to you. If it's heavier than you, it'll pull you towards it.
There's the grapple reel. And I'm pushing myself there. So let's try to push that in there. And descend a little bit. Yeah. So I can push stuff with my grapple.
Credits deposited.
And I get credited for everything that I put in there. And later on, I will have to put certain items like very valuable tools or anything like electrical units or something. I have to put those into different fields. There's more than the furnace. So you can also swing stuff in there. Oops. And so you can use the grapple to get around. Like for example, we have these yellow things up here. And I can hold on to those and can move to them. So that's a pretty fast way to get around.
The bigger nanocarbon chunks now, shall we? You may have already noticed that these are too heavy to move with your grapple.
So yeah, that's why I couldn't push
I'm enabling
these.
your scanner so we can check out their structural makeup. Go ahead and boot it up. This mode of your scanner lets you assess an object's structure. What I want you to focus on right now are these cut points. All right. Controls give me the go-ahead to get you cutting. You got quick access to all your tools through your HUD. Just open up your tool selector and choose the cutting tool. Your cutting tool has two modes. The first one is the stinger. And it's designed for precision vaporization of cut points like this. You ready to perform some zero-G surgery, Cutter? Well, let's split this scrap so it's light enough to move.
Right, so I'm cutting this thing, separating it into big pieces.
Okay. Let me boot up the processor so you can salvage these. Do me a favor. Look on over at one of them there. Yeah, so I can see if they activate right. Yeah, perfect. Wish me luck here, Cutter. Me and technology ain't always the best of friends. Hey!
Alrighty.
We're in business. Now swap over to your grapple. Toss one of
So
those
it was to have to use.
right in
I separated it, and now I can actually move those pieces and hopefully swing them in there. It's pretty slow, but maybe we can give it a little push as well. Right, so we're maneuvering this really heavy piece of equipment in there, and I like the fact that you actually can feel how heavy it is, and how it, you know, kind of how it feels when you maneuver stuff like that in zero gravity. Later on you get more tools. The stuff that you saw in the beginning when I went to that station,
Well, okay.
there was a guy working, he was using more advanced tools, like tying different pieces together.
That large aluminum chunk over there. Now this beast is way too heavy to move as is. It's also too dense for your stinger to break it down. And there are no structural cut points for us to take advantage of. We're gonna have to switch over to the split saw mode of your cutting tool, start slicing this thing down to size. Go ahead and switch cut modes now. Now try changing the angle of the cut. We're in business. I've unlocked the trigger on your cutting tool. It'll split that big chunk clean in two. Go ahead and give her a whirl. I'm gonna turn on your salvage indicator so you can track how
Nice.
much work there's left.
Yeah, so that's
This
the other
thing will
mode.
track how much you salvaged and how much you've lost. For now, let's try and hit that first goal marker. And that's what it's all about, Cutter. The more salvage goals you complete.
So yeah, I have to fill the bar up on the screen and salvage a certain amount of money. And later the ships get much more valuable and have more valuable parts, but also the parts in there are gonna be a bit trickier to handle when you got like power cores and everything, which can explode if you're not careful. So there it really gets into a surgery part. So let's get that stuff in there. And I think that will be enough to reach our salvage goal. Right.
Great first shift in the yard, Cutter. Let's head on over to your hab and I'll show you the ropes there. Fly on over back to the master jack. I'll put a marker on it so you can find it easy. When you get there, head on in and we'll get started.
So since I'm playing the normal modes, we'll have to eventually check for our oxygen level and the energy level, and have to refill in between. So there's a time management thing in there as well. And of course we want to salvage as much as possible during a shift. So yeah, that's how you maneuver in open space. So once I get in there, I end my shift and then I get like a little summary of how much I earned. I earned 400,000 bucks. That's pretty good. And I also
License upgraded.
think I earned some skill points. So I'm ending my shift. And this is my lovely habitat.
Hello, Shipbreaker.
Looks like a dream, right?
Have 1. Incoming transmission waiting.
So I moved by like some waypoints here. There we go.
Welcome to your new home, Cutter. Has everything you need. This is officially called a ready-made
Beautiful.
long-term employee habitation something or other. Around here, we just call it your hab. Now, how's about you get yourself some rest? We'll pick up your training in the morning. But sleep tight there, Cutter.
So yeah. I was killed and turned to a clone. I slept. And this is my morning message.
It's time to begin your workday.
Very romantic. Very encouraging as well. And there is email that I can read, of course.
Rise and shine, Cutter. Hope you feel well rested.
Got an
Ready to
equipment
continue your
room
training?
where we can
Okay.
upgrade equipment.
Let's have a look at your employee terminal. Now, let's get caught up on career progression and certification. I've sent you a message with an explanation. Go on and give it a read.
So there we go.
Clear as mud? Don't worry, I'm here to walk you through the process. Soon enough, I'm going to introduce you to some of the other shipbreakers. Most of them are willing to help you out, too. All right, let's start a new shift and pick your first ship to work on.
Alrighty. Enter the ship catalog. I'm a little confused right now how to enter the ship catalog. Because he said it's at the terminal.
This screen
Ah,
shows which
okay,
ship
here
you
it
have
is.
access to.
Gotta stop my shift.
Each morning, you can choose to continue working on the ship you got or start a fresh one. Go ahead and claim one, and we'll get to work.
Alright, so I can pick a ship and I usually have to buy them. Which of course means I have to invest a little bit, and then depending on how much I salvage, I can earn a profit with that. And I am gonna buy this little ship here. And there it is.
primary goal is to reach rank 3. Now try to remember, nanocarbon goes in the processor, aluminum goes in the furnace. Try to salvage the entire ship if you can. We call it using the whole buffalo. You'll hit your certs faster that way and start knocking out that debt of yours. I'll be observing and giving you any help if you need it. Good luck, Cutter.
Alrighty. So here's my first ship. And I can actually see these cutting points. So I can see where I can actually enter the ship. So I'm gonna switch the tool. To the cutter. I'm gonna remove this. These got dissolved. Alright, so now I can move this piece and put it into the salvage thing. Nanocarbon. Right, and I think it's now ready for me to give it a little shove. Yeah, that works. And if I put stuff into the wrong furnace, I get a fee that I have to pay.
Object processed.
But for this, I got the credits. Alrighty, so now, since I removed that, I can actually enter the ship by way of this little hole here. And now I can start cutting the different pieces apart. It's really easy to identify even without the scanner. All these yellow, black connectors. I remove them. Right. So is there more? Don't think so. So let's go in there. Now, and right now it's really easy because there's no nuclear material or anything in there which could explode. And usually what I like to do, I mean, I could already go outside and start to remove certain pieces and put them into the furnaces, but what I like to do is actually remove the connectors first and then get out again and start.
Salvaging back down Earthside.
Oh, let him finish.
Avoid scrapping biz. You know what made me come up here? One day, we got a batch of this particular model in. One of them kinds with synthetic skin and everything. We almost never saw people looking ones like that. They're always too expensive to manufacture. Seems someone found a warehouse full of them. Mothballed for, 20 years or so. Since the AI ban took effect, probably bought the whole lot for pennies, thinking they could turn a tidy profit with the salvage. No word of a lie. These things looked exactly like my stepbrother Jed. He even had the same slack-jawed expression. Now, Jed and I wasn't exactly pals or nothing, but all the same, I couldn't bring myself to start smashing that dopey face. And that's when I looked into getting on with Lynx. I tell you what, it's a sight better to cut up something that doesn't look like a family relation. Anyway, I'm running on. I'll clear the channel. Holler if there's anything giving you grief up there, Cutter. We were out.
So yeah, as much as I like the voice acting, sometimes I remember that it's a little much sometimes when people send you messages. You'll see that. We will see that later. It's aluminum, right? It is, right? No, that is. It is. All right, so. titanium, and there's a little bit of nanocarbon in there. And I'm not quite sure whether I can just cut this. Don't think I want to try that. No. So I will have to pay a little fee because there's nanocarbon in there. I'm sure there's a way to remove that later on. So let's get the grapple and move that over into one of the yellow ones because it's mostly aluminum. And you can see I can swing those pieces, and there's also a little draft from those flames which will draw pieces in when they get close, so you don't have to throw them all the way in. They also pull a little bit. You can see my shadow there looking pretty good. I mean, I like the graphic style here.
Deposit accepted.
See, I'm getting $28,000, but also I get a fee. They have to pay off a couple of $1,000 because there was carbon in there. Nanocarbon. Can't move that. I can move that. Cool. So let's see. This is mostly nanocarbon. Titanium. Yeah, I think that has to go into the blue one. So this will be a little tricky. And as I said, at first it takes a little while to get used to moving stuff and how to move in zero gravity, especially when oxygen becomes a factor, which is disabled right now, I think, because of the tutorial part. Now let me see if I can cut this up then. I'm gonna move up a little bit, break, turn around. Okay, I can't cut this because it's above the cut rate. So let me get the grapple again, and let's try to push that into that furnace over here. Yeah, should work. Yeah, and it should pull the rest in. All right, so we've already removed quite a bit of the spaceship. Just this.
Processing object. Applying credits to account. Salvage goal achieved. Rewards allocated.
Moving this as well. This should be way easier. Yeah, you can see. Lighter everything is, the faster it will fly. And then, you know, you see we have these connectors here. So let me switch to a different cutting mode and take these out. You can eventually increase the power of your drill and use more tools, as I said. For example, you will get a tool that will allow you to actually connect several different pieces of salvage together, and you will have this thing. It's a tool where you can connect 2 points, like you put one anchor on a piece of salvage and one anchor close to the furnace, and then it will be like a rubber band pulling the piece of salvage to the furnace. You get tools like that. We saw that in the intro when the shuttle was flying to the station. We saw that other cutter working there, and he was using these advanced tools. You get these pretty quickly, and I think the game does a great job at actually teaching you how to play and when to use what tool. And I have to say, I find this incredibly relaxing. Last summer, I had a couple of days off, and in between playing some other games, I would always play this little game here and listen to an audiobook or a podcast or something and cut apart a few ships. it's usually quite chill, unless you start running out of oxygen. Or later, as I said, there are ships which have like a nuclear reactor, and you have to be really careful with that, because once you cut that loose, you have a limited amount of time to throw that into the right container so it won't explode. And also there are fuel tanks, and it's actually quite possible to set the whole ship on fire, you know, where the flames spread. So what I'm doing right here is something I mentioned before. I could just go and remove like one piece, one of the bigger chunks, by destroying the connecting pieces. But what I like to do is get in there and cut every connector that I see. And then once they're all gone, I can just move around and throw all the pieces into the furnace. There we go. I think there are a couple more. There. Right. So we're gonna go through here. Yes, there are a few more. And you don't want to like burn it too much, because then you risk damaging like one of the more valuable pieces of salvage. So I'm just trying to get rid of those connecting pieces. And you get XP for that, you get money for that. And with the XP you can actually buy talent points, which allow you to unlock better equipment and better talents, I guess. So for example, your oxygen can last longer. Or I love stuff like that. I love those little pieces flying around. You can have your thrusters work better, like higher speed and stuff. So yeah, there are still some some connectors left, but let's get rid of some of that stuff so far. I had a few situations when I played that last year where the stuff didn't go, the pieces didn't go sometimes where I wanted them to go. I was like rushing it a bit, and it kind of sucked. And these frames here, I think I have to cut them apart. So let me switch to a different mode. Yes, I do. Alright, and it's removing a few thousand credits for that, which sounds a lot, but it isn't. And where do I have some other connectors? Okay. That's a heavy piece right there. But with some pushes, I should be able to shove it in there. Go down a little lower. And keep pushing. Yeah, it's actually fun. It's satisfying, right? I mean, there are some other games where you do stuff like, I heard that the Power Wash Simulator is like incredibly satisfying to pay. I haven't tried it, but people say, you know, it's just like, it sounds weird to play a game where you actually just run around with like some power wash thingy, some cleaner thing, and clean stuff, but they find it quite satisfying. And this is, I guess, the same, in the same way. And this stuff here in the middle, this framing, has to go to the furnace, so you can always see where stuff has to go. So this is like the core of the ship, which holds the panels, and then I can throw them into the furnace. So that's it for now. I would like to stop for now. Hope I was, if you had never heard about this game, maybe I got your interest. I'm not affiliated with the company or anything. You know that these recommendations are just supposed to show you a few games that I really enjoy playing that may not be as well known as some of the AAA titles or whatever. I mean, don't worry, I'm not gonna do like a hey, have you ever heard about Elden Ring type video or Final Fantasy or something. This game was pretty popular for a while when it came out, and well deserved. So thank you for watching me, and if you want to check this game out, it's on sale occasionally, and it's really worth it. It's a really relaxing, fun little game with some cool mechanics. So thank you, and see you next time.